Michael with his new digs in the Disco DJ Club of 2021.
We could. That's what that makes our service go 10 times faster.
Right. Welcome to another Tech Talk on a Tuesday. Well, actually, our last ever Tech Talk on a Tuesday in 2021. I'm sure we'll be back in 2022. But hey, great to have you all here.
Welcome to Tech Talk on a Tuesday, where Corey and Jimmy talk to smart people about tech that is way above their head, but intensely informative, super fun. Sooner or later, somebody's going to make an inappropriate joke. We're definitely going to give away a bunch of NFTs. And quite frankly, we're just going to learn a whole ton. If you have any ideas about who we should have on Tech Talk on a Tuesday, please let us know by adding us in the comments or just finding us. Just stalk us down. It's fine. Just talk to us. Tech Talk on a Tuesday.
Lots of retro popping out today with those purple colors. That old school EOSIO Weekly. That's good. Yeah, it's been weird. I was thinking about today, like when the first time we actually, had you on the show was, and I guess it would have been for our BP and Chill when we used to do the old EOSI Weekly theme shows. So. A lot's happened, man, since we first met.
Long ago. That was a millennia ago.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, even since the last time you were on here, everything's changed in EOS, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, we hit another one of those, I'd say, waves. We kind of go through lulls, and I mean, not so much winters, but the I don't know, working period, as I kind of call it. And then, lots of things kind of change and pop. And then everybody kind of goes back to working and trying to make, their next big movement forward. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting things happening for sure, right? Like we are starting to see social media blow up with new all-time high price predictions on EOS, which is, we haven't seen that in almost a year, right? Like more than a year.
Haven't had people threatening to eat their own body parts. What?
I mean, I've seen a bunch of new all-time high stuff from like the regular people that just are not going to let it go. Like they'll never let it go.
I don't pay attention to any of
till
it.
They die.
I just work. I just try to get a high score and pay the bills.
That's the way, man. That's the way.
I don't know. I heard from your boss you're a little bit of a slacker. You're just playing this weird Minecraft video game all day building shit. Right?
Oh no, I tell my boss, I play games for a living. I tell everybody I play games for a living.
That's the way.
It's a different world now,
Right.
Hey, and you know what my boss tells me? You should go play some more games for a living. You're doing very well with that.
He's right. So I posted the link for the free swap lift tickets NFTs. You need those to get into the new little event server that we have set up for the swap lifting. We thought we were going to be covering that this morning at 9:00. Turns out it's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. People are actually in there right now, I think, or will be throughout the course of the day, racing and trying to get into the top 24 so they can be part of the race. There's prizes. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting fun too, right? Like it's segregated from everything else, right? So it's its own server, it's its own place, it's its own area that doesn't affect any lag and anything else. And it's maybe the first time we've done that. I think
second we did the Mall Gallery opening that way too.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, for an event, like a sporting event, because that's what this is. EOS USA, Michael. It's a sporting event. Esports. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying that kind of as a joke, but it's not. Like, that's actually real, which is funny.
E-sport is the thing.
It's legit. And I'm actually in Old World Spawn right now. I might as well just like pop in game over here and see what's going on. Boink. Yeah, of course we got our beautiful Christmas tree. Whole thing is like decorated all in like Christmassy stuff.
Anyway. Oh, trust me, I heard the squeals when Princess logged in and I've got presents. I've got presents. What the hell are you talking about? And I walked into, my chest depot and it's walls and walls of chests that were done like presents. So yeah, this is what the North Pole looks like, sweetie.
All right, so this is we're there now, apparently. I don't know where I'm supposed to go now. They do have it glassed off. I wonder if it's you can probably just go up here. This feels kind of intense. What the hell? They did some freaking work in here.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm kind of curious to know how many like Christmas trees there actually are in the uplift. There seems to be like a lot, right? Like, I mean, it's probably, I don't know.
I mean, I have no idea. Go hang some lanterns and some spruce, and I mean, that's Christmas enough for me.
Yeah, they seem to be everywhere.
You can't. I don't think you can fly in here, Jimmy.
You can't fly.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that like if you're having to use the boat from the top,
start's gonna be.
Well, you're gonna.
I'm gonna go with that big red arrow. Might be a good indicator,
right? I think this is a finish line though. Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be up there, right?
But I don't know what that lever does that you just walk by.
Awesome. I don't know what's going on down here, but I'm not mad about it.
I'm sure they're thrilled about you giving a sneak peek of everything.
Right? Register now, kids. Swaplift.io. Yeah, I would imagine. So yeah, we'll kind of spend more time in here later on tonight.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and I'm excited to see.
Shit, right?
Super.
I wonder if they just have a portal to the top. That'd be slick as fuck. If they don't, they should.
You know anybody that could set that up?
I know some people. I know some people. Just this whole building, like they did work.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just walking around now.
Again, we don't have so much time to cover everything that's being built in the uplift, but like, feel free to reach out to me if you're out there and doing a build. I'm working on a post for the Coliseum over in Gratitude right now. That was done by Ebenezer as part of the estate. Sorry, as part of the Gratitude build contest, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I guess we'll cover this on the channel tomorrow. But also check out
sponsored by Splinterlands much?
Okay. I saw an MBM logo up there.
Yeah, they're not fucking around at all. Well done.
I mean, sponsorships in the uplift.
I mean, wouldn't be the first time, but I'm definitely happy to see it.
Yeah, it's not the first time, but I'm pretty sure that it might become a very common thing.
Oh, I almost died. Oh, you can take rail up to the top.
Oh, that makes sense. Is this a triathlon? You have to start with the rail?
I feel, what the fuck is all this nonsense? That's a lot of buttons. All right, before I fuck anything up, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Yeah, this looks really cool. Anyway, let's go do some gratitudes. Boink.
You can fly.
I can. All right. So, EOSUSA.
I'm grateful for 2021. It's been an amazing year. I mean, just wrapping the whole thing up into one, since it's the last show. But
I'm with
if 2021 had never happened, my life would probably be a lot different.
Right? What would you say are the biggest changes for you?
I mean, the last year, the space that I immerse my life into has developed. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
I don't know how to fit it onto a sign, but that's why I say it's just. I mean, the whole year. I mean, everything about the space gaining a little bit of legitimacy. Obviously EOSUSA is doing well. Able to sign all these blocks and provide all these services, and a lot of the projects are starting to take traction and have something you can do versus just roll dice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I say. I'm just glad 2021. Everything about 2021. It may not have been the greatest for everybody, but it was definitely a good year for us.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I know it's super challenging for a lot of people. It's completely and totally changed my life, selfishly. Crazy pants. So yeah, I'm here with you. 2021 has been pretty epic.
Are there any dice left to roll, by the way? Like, are there any dice left to roll in EOS? Are they all, like, they're all gone, right? Like, there's no more dice.
I don't know. They probably are there. Once those wallets stop being able to display, the dApps inside of them, you really kind of fractionalized everything. So I don't know. I mean, I used to go in there and play, while I was sitting on the shitter, but now, no, I got more fun and better things to do.
I don't gamble, and I reminded myself why I don't gamble by gambling with a couple bottles of wine under my belt. I think like two New Year's ago, and doing something a little bit dumb, refunding my account, and then being like, oh, okay, well, the gambler's fallacy. I can't lose 3 times in a row, right? Let's just say that it ended well for my gambling problem because I don't gamble anymore.
Don't gamble when you don't have anything to gamble with.
Right. I'm grateful for so it's weird because you talk about 2021 and for me, before 2021, I wasn't here. I wasn't in the spotlight. I was doing a little bit of writing, but for me, 2021 changed everything just because of the people I met as well. So I'm grateful for the friends I've met along the way. People like, Corey, obviously, people like you, Michael. I mean, stayed up way too late. Way past my bedtime, more than 1 or 2 occasions after shows, just rambling here and there about, things that aren't even blockchain related sometimes. So it's really interesting to, I mean, you've threatened me with guns if I ever, sleep on your front lawn without permission first. Things like that.
Just a warning. I invited you to sleep on mine. I'm just trying to explain to you what life in the South may be like if somebody just randomly squats in your lawn.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's really good to meet people across the space from all over the world, right? It's kind of insane if we're honest about it. Corey, what about you? What are you writing down there?
I'm grateful for esports and the uplift, and I'm actually doing a little post letting people know about some stuff.
Nice. So I don't know if you caught the episode that Corey did with Eve LaRose, Michael, and the EOS Network Foundation and the Pomelo grants, and there's EOS Starta that's happening. There's just so many.
I'm aware of what's going on. I don't think I caught the show, but yes, obviously I stay in tune with it. I'm not the biggest political man, so I try I mean, when I get in there and try to do anything, I break shit. So,
dude, Corey, we so need a featured show called Blockchain Politics. That would be hilarious.
No, denied.
no, I
You
might
want to do
politely
that?
skip
You have
on that
fun.
one.
I am still recovering from a political career. Hard pass.
That's what. Look, as a block producer, I have to be involved and have to be aware of it and have to have an opinion. But I'm tech centric, so
I should rope our good friend Sean Belante.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Like that show, I would consume and watch that show with glee because that motherfucker is hilarious.
Yeah, he's
and I think the only way I want to interface with any political nonsense is through the satirical, hardcore freaking jokes of Sean. Personally.
Hey, I guess it's time for some EOS popcorn again, isn't it? Right?
Did you read the last one? Oh my god, it's good. It's worth digging out.
That's why I need to go and look and see.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's been a while since I've seen that.
So well
it kind of
done.
went comatose for a while. I mean, we stopped having Fred and Doug yelling at each other or hating EOS, and
well, I mean, they're off busy doing their own things, and what's interesting to me is you're seeing a lot of. I don't know. This is just my take, and I'm in my own echo chamber as well. But you're seeing a lot of people from Wax actually looking back at EOS and thinking, okay, like, yeah, you guys are doing shit. Like this could work, right? But like Telos and Proton, they seem to be still in their own echo chambers. I'm not really sure if I'm right about that, but like you don't really hear them congratulating the EOS network the same way that you do a lot of Wax-based projects, right?
Well, I mean, in all fairness, it's been a long tumultuous relationship since 2018. I mean, there's been a lot of things. You can't only take the current situation into account. You can't discredit it, but I mean, having been here for many, many years and seeing I by no means do I ever support any of the factionization of all. I've always been a big proponent of EOSIO was really kind of designed to work together. I mean, that's always been a chain of 1,000,000 nodes or 1,000 chains of 1,000 nodes. That it's more effective to have people doing their own thing versus trying to do everything. As for the different, it's a unique space. I mean, you're all ultimately still competing for the same talent at this stage. You're all, and not all, but there is a lot of overlap and a lot of, well, maybe our way is better and different ways. I do think there's a lot of cross collaboration. It may not be as prevalent in the channels, because a lot of them are somewhat semi-private, is what I call those chains. They have public, decentralized infrastructure and block producers and whatnot, but I mean, there's still a driving team and controlling interest that tries to develop these products and focus on what they're doing. So I mean, it's kind of a natural tendency to want to do your own thing and yours is the best and not always accept everybody else's opinions, but obviously that's not the best.
There was an interesting post I read today as well. Well, it was a comment to a post actually from Rami James, who's most of from Scatter now is part of the Ultra team over there building video games on EOSIO tech, and he basically came out and said that it's been incredibly satisfying working with Aaron Cox of the Greymass team on the upcoming wallet initiative. The roadmap that they're developing will mean that all EOSIO blockchain networks will have access to high quality, well-made tooling that is thoroughly designed. And I mean, like one of the things that went wrong with Scatter really was the lack of funding, right? One of the things that went wrong with a lot of these projects was the lack of funding, right?
Well, that's what kind of caused EOS to what I call coma, for those, I don't know, call it 2 years, I mean, there was a lot of initial innovation and then things kind of stifled down a little bit. And now you're starting to see that next wave don't know, breaking free of those shackles and trying to do some of the things that we all hoped, you know, in 2018 we were going to be able to do, or 19, you know, when it started to slide. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the other thing is the other chains have been able to focus more on that and avoid all of the politics and avoid a lot of that decentralization battle. Whereas EOS is, you know, starting to overcome all of that, get their, you know, structure back in place, get some key leaders and foundation structures, and be able to start focusing back, like you say, is all EOSIO chains. We're all 99.9% the same DNA. It's just, you know, system contracts at the most point, you know, that differ. So if we all can benefit and come together, you know, there's no reason that one has to be exclusive of the other. And if we pool our resources together, we're obviously, you know, a stronger setup. And yeah, I mean, work with Rami and Nathan and all of them over at Ultra. You know, we're one of the BPs over there, and excited about, you know, they're another one of those kind of semi-private chains that, you know, has an initiative, has the ability to fund development as opposed to, I remember when the scatter guys, you know, they were struggling, you know, and they were trying to be a BP and try to get votes, and, you know, the only mechanism for funding was, you know, block producer rewards, and still sometimes falls into that. But, you know, I'm excited to see either projects that are able to fund the development, like Wax. You know, Wax has led the development with, you know, some internal funding for a lot of features that I think now are starting to percolate out to other chains. Telos, you know, Telos did a lot. This EVM infrastructure, you know, that I think a big step forward with EOSIO and some of the tech that all of us can benefit, you know, because it actually started as Saeed over on EOS from a Block 1 grant was, hey, write a EVM on EOSIO, and I think he did it in like 2 days.
Yeah, well, and I mean, now, of course, you know, he's working with the Proton team over there, and I think a lot that's going on with Proton and Telos is probably more connected to other networks than it is to EOSIO at this point.
I mean, they're just realizing, I mean, Proton's always been, you know, multi-chain and kind of that, I don't want to call it the financial fabric, but that's more their thing. Versus...
I don't want to give them more credit than I think that they're worth.
Well, number one, I'm a block producer on Proton, and number two, I'm actually on the committee for Proton, so I do have a little bit of favor for them. But
yeah,
they have their own vision that, you know, I mean, what they're looking to provide in the space versus just do it all and hope for the best. So obviously,
well, and for people that don't know, I think like that was a kind of a big meld between there's an interesting backstory about me and Corey that people don't know about over there. I don't even know if Corey knows that, but I remember Corey. I remember Corey and me getting into like Proton around the same time, and I remember like you hanging out with like people like Stella and talking about them on like some of your shows and things like that, and that's kind of that's kind of where I first found out about you. Actually, I didn't really know
that was Link's chain. That was the first.
Yeah, that was Link's chain.
This is the thing, right? Like Link's made Shipple possible back in the day, right? And so I had a huge soft spot in my heart for them, just making that possible, and it was really easy to use until they just forgot that it existed.
No, two different things. I mean, one was, you know, Link's always kind of started out as the wallet and kind of, you know, trying to fix the UX experience for EOSIO. You know, oh, you can't create an account without spending $5 to do it, right? But he always, I remember, I mean, we talked to him back in 2018, I think, you know, Fred was, you know, 12 character or hard names. There's a problem, CPU, RAM, you know, people don't need to know about all of that. So that idea of obscuring a lot of that was one of his big things that, you know, Fred and the whole Links group pushed. And then ultimately decided, oh, okay, well, if EOS can't or won't do it, relative term, then they broke off and, you know, spun up Link's chain, which had shortened normal names and, you know, obscured all the resources and all of that. And then ultimately partnered up with Metal. And that's really where the marrying of the two technologies was. the UX experience and idea of links. And I mean, you remember the wallet. I describe it as iPhone-esque. One button, make it simple. I mean, Anchor's awesome because I'm a super nerd. But when I throw that in front of somebody, I mean, or Scatter or any of those, you know, it's like, and of course, you know, the iteration of that from there was Wax Wallet. You know, I mean, that's something that the Wax team took, you know, to heart, was obscure all of that. And they don't even need to know their real account names. You know, it's all these .wham accounts, but you know, a simple way to log in and use your account, and somewhat obscure some of those resources, or the onboarding. Let's say they haven't obscured the resources, but you know, I mean, that was a big piece that I think was the beginning many years ago of a lot of, all right, we got to make it better. The tech's good, but let's build these things. And it took a little while to get the engine cranked. But like I say, EOS, I think, finally kind of has a little bit of direction. You know, the only direction we had was to burn, what was it, like $160 million worth of funds because we couldn't agree on what to spend it on. So we spent it on nothing. You know, well, I'd rather some frivolous bullshit, you know, versus nothing.
We burned a shit ton of those funds too back in the
day.
Right,
that's what I'm talking about. The first burning of the inflation, you know, I mean, the WPS, whatever fund that was, that it was like $160 million or something. And that was just, it was so disappointing. And I voted for it because there was no other way out of the quagmire, you know, I mean, nobody was going to do anything. There was no way to push that forward. But how awesome would Scatter have been if they'd have gotten $1 million of that? You know, how
seriously,
awesome, you know, like, how far
like
back
half a percent.
So
yeah,
that's why I'm excited. That, you know, obviously the semi-private chains are starting to, you know, get their traction and do what they do, and then even the fully public decentralized chains are starting to kind of circle their wagons, and Foundation and Yep. Well, Corey, I appreciate this, being from the South. I'm in the Palmetto state, so I can't read I just call it Palmetto. In my head, the grant system, Palmo, whatever it is, that grant system, and people being able to, you know, vote for things and matching and a way. I remember going through that list and being like, I know them. I love that project. I know them. I love that project. I just got to support them all. Oh, shit, I can't support them all because they're all awesome. You know what I mean? But it was just exciting to see at least the mechanisms opening up to pushing advancement on EOS and using some of its power and funds to be able to do what we were trying to do years ago. Jimmy's out.
Did he take off?
I don't know.
He just died. He's like, screw this shit. I'm out of here.
Michael's talking too much. I got to go. So anyway, like I say, I'm excited. I think this is kind of a rejuvenation period.
Yeah. I think you're right. And chatting with Eve, it was so much fun. It's like clear vision for the future, right?
And there's a lot of people that have, you know, polarizing opinions, and I mean, not everybody's, you know, perfect in everybody's eyes, but you know, Nations, we've always been a fan of a lot of the Nations work, and Eve very early on was, you know, we were one of the scrappy ones down at the bottom, and he did what he could to try to, you know, hey, there's guys that are, you know, trying and doing, and obviously, you know, he didn't have 100 million votes, you know, to be able to do whatever, but he was always very good at, you know, trying to coordinate and herd the cats the best he could, even way back when. Yeah. And then obviously, you know, at least from our aspect, you know, a great personality and position to be able to kind of at least try to right the ship. You know, I mean, he may do things right, he may do things wrong, but
well,
I think we'd all agree the last 3 years probably weren't right.
Exactly. If at first you fail for 3 years, do something different. I mean, really. I mean, if you're starting at negative at a number, and everything they've done so far is super positive and is totally the right direction. Like they're studying what that direction should be in, you know, multi-pronged approach, and then, you know, actually getting and then marshaling resources in a way that I think is just it's going to be an effective way to collaborate. And then, yeah, they're not everything that they do is going to be right, but they're going to be iterating, right? If you do nothing, you're not growing. You're not evolving.
That was the problem, was we were in just a stagnant coma for
like
2 years, you know.
I fully give Yves Leroux's permission to fail. Then he'll fix it. Right? Like, not that anyone needs my permission to do anything, but like, but that's like, people should adopt that, right? I mean, that, you know, if you're not trying anything, you're not growing. There's no way to
definitely, you can't be in a bleeding edge space and think in any way that resting on your laurels will do any good, you know.
100%.
But I also understand it. I mean, it's not like we just said, I'm cool, you know. It's hard. I mean, decentralized herding cats, you know.
Yeah.
Even on the smaller chains, you know, that had a little bit more centralization of the decentralized group, you know, it's hard. You know, you can't agree on things. It's hard to even schedule things because you got people on the other side of the world that it's, you know, what are you 14 hours ahead of me, Jimmy?
Hell, like, I mean, Corey and I do this show together, and oh, sorry.
Huh? I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe Corey... I can't hear. I lost my headphones. Hold on. I'm on mute.
Mother.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Corey and I, like, you know, we do this show together and we're pretty good mates, but there's like times that we don't even agree. Right. Like, I mean, I think the difference is in the end, 99.9% of the time we talk through it and we end up agreeing. But there seems to be a lot of, yeah, I think that's maybe the biggest problem with Block One is that there was no fucking talk ever. Right. Like, it was just like, we're doing this and like that. And so like, but now, I hate ironically enough, they're starting to talk again, which is quite interesting to me.
Well, I'd like to say I hate that worked out the way that it did. I mean, I've worked, you know, with some of those Block One engineers. They're really smart guys, and you know, some of their smartest guys would be chatting with us on Sunday night trying to figure out, you know, what just happened and broke. But you know, I hate that it didn't turn out maybe the way that everybody hoped, but you know, the next phase will be exciting. You know, that, okay, fine. Everybody's been yelling at Block One and pissed off at them and expecting the moon, you know, fine. All that's done. No more yelling at Block One. Give them the finger and just be happy with it, whatever your opinion is. But let's fix this shit. You know, I mean, okay, let's take some of the funding. Let's get, you know, I mean, we have plenty of talent across this space. I work with them every day, and you know, they're the ones that are, you know, figuring out these bugs and submitting the pull request and running it. You know, we run 400 of these servers. We figure out a lot of the quirks and problems and, you know, functionality gaps. And so, okay, fine. If Block One couldn't, wouldn't, can't, whatever, no longer a problem. Let's get Aaron and let's get CC, you know, let's get, you mean I want EOS USA. I mean, I'll be on.
Well, no, but like, I mean, I think one of the other big problems that like a lot of EOS has had is we're full of developers who know their shit, but are just horrible at marketing. Right? Like look at Aaron Cox or look at John Boyd or look at yourself as well. Like you're, you know, and all that you do. I mean, luckily enough, Jenner EOS has me. So that's seeming to work out pretty well. At least they're happy with me. I don't know. But like, you know, I've had other people that have approached me and said like, you know, how do you know anyone that like could, you know, help us promote like what we do, right? And I think really the block producers and their role have been under promoted. And even if you look at EOS Nation, right? Like EOS Nation back when Eve was, you know, in control, they for a really long time they weren't a top block producer. They weren't in the top 21, right? Like he busted his balls traveling the world to be able to bring the East and West together.
Well,
right?
I mean, sadly, that wasn't anything about marketing. That wasn't anything about that. That was just simply he's taking the initiative and really, bridging that gap between the East and the West that just kept forming that divide. And yes, they may have, you know, obviously ascended the ranks because of it. But I mean, just as much as anything is, yes, that we were broken. You know, we were very segmented. And I mean, somebody needed somebody had to bring the two together, because the internet does not do good at bringing two opposing factions to any sort of an agreement.
I mean, imagine the conflict that I wrestle with in my head the other day. It's funny because I had this weird conversation aside with my wife today. We went out and we were talking, and I said, this is the daily conflict that I have in my head. And maybe this puts it into perspective, the East and the West. I said, if you get me a gift, I feel bad. And I don't want you to ever give me a gift, because it's a waste of time for you to go out and buy me a gift and give me something that I'm probably, just because it's Christmas or just because it's my birthday, right? But when I don't give you a gift because it's Christmas or because it's my birthday, I feel really bad about it. And like, these two things live very happily and very contently in my brain, and they shouldn't.
Well, I mean, I think there's a little bit of being, I don't know, humble or gracious or what you want to call it. But
well, I mean, it's all about perspective, right? Like we look at business mechanics in America or in the East, as opposed to like what happens in China. I mean, it's normal to pay people in China off. If you're not paying people
explain to people, as that was one of the first things to me that helped me understand. I mean, it wasn't an East-West thing. It's not a xenophobic or any of that stuff. It's more, it's a cultural difference.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, us Americans, we have our, flamboyant opinions about everything. And I'm like, oh no. I mean, the biggest thing to me that I picked up on was just the differences. They'll be like, the Eastern culture more looks at, if we're here to make money, let's make money. Is there a way to make money? I mean, if I'm not killing somebody, make money. Whereas Americans are much more, well, that may not be right. Or, well, you should feel guilty about it or something like that. And, it's just a cultural difference that just fundamentally, and it was really about the, vote exchanging or rewarding the voter reward. There you go. That's what they, started calling it, that it's just simply, wait, somebody will pay me to do something.
Right.
Why the hell wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And once you kind of realize that concept, it's like, well, I mean, I guess I understand, And so, like I say, it's just cultural differences as much as anything. And that just kind of led to this factions, and then like you had Eve, be able to go over there and be like, look, I mean, we're not going anywhere if we're just sitting on our asses, right?
Yeah.
We got to do something. So.
Well, I mean, it's exciting, and I, hashtag shameless plug with severe relevance. You're going to be definitely a big part of our shows next year, because if you don't know, Corey and I are porting our crypto writer shows back to an EOS-centric show, where we're going to look at the main chain, we're going to look at the blockchain. There might be roundtables, there might be updates, there might be things like that, but nobody's covering it, right? And it's been a really long time since people like EOS Radio were covering it, right? Yeah.
I mean, like I say, at least even if it were dice games or whatever, that was all of that kind of ground to a halt. I mean, we were fighting EOS and spam, and I mean, that just crushed the chain and resources into oblivion. And now we're really kind of having to shift over and retool and revamp. But I do think a lot of it, like us at least, I mean, obviously we've still been here, we still got our nodes, we've advanced ourselves in the EOSIO ways, and now are able to bring a lot of the technology and services and stuff that we've done on other chains back to EOS. So it's not having to start over from scratch. Like atomic assets. I mean, you want to make atomic assets rain on EOS? I got all the code and stuff ready pretty much for that, because while EOS may have kind of gone into a little bit of lull, the whole ecosystem did not. And so now
there's a lot more stuff we can do. I mean, talking to you too, like the idea that, I mean, eventually we're going to have, uplift NFTs on EOS for an EOS based map. I mean, that's inevitable, right? Mm-hmm. And then, figuring out how to do, rewards on EOS, and like, NFT distribution with punch sign on EOS, like all that same is like basically the same code as we'd be using on Wax, right? So it's like it's such an easy lift, and it allows us to get into a totally different market, right? And that market is going to develop. We'll see what's going to happen, but there's momentum coming, right? And a lot of people building stuff, and a lot of people building the core tools that are going to help everyone, like the public good kind of stuff, which I think is is fascinating. I didn't see what happens, right? You know, the potential and possibility and even probability for redemption for an entire blockchain is, you know, it's pretty epic. And, you know, I heard Block One's going to build something on EOS eventually.
On EOSIO? Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice pivot block producer that has to work with them.
Hey, Joey, thanks for joining us. I don't know why you were banned. I'm guessing it might have been an auto farm regulation, but you're more than welcome to submit a support ticket and we can deal with it there. Apologies, but yeah, I mean, plead your case.
No apologies. If you got banned, it was probably for a good reason. If it's not, too late.
Yeah, fair enough. I was gonna say apologies, but that's our process, right? Like, go through the process, and if you
so much nicer than me, Jimmy,
didn't deserve it, then yeah, sometimes it's. But yeah, I mean, thanks for joining us on the show. Anyway,
yeah, it's very nice of you.
Yeah.
Got any tech questions? No.
Right? Isn't this like Tech Talk on a Tuesday or some shit?
No, it's honestly the only reason that it's Tech Talk on a Tuesday is because I want to play the intro one more time. No, we have tech questions.
Mike, what's your favorite new tool? Like your favorite new little bit of whiz bang?
You mean in the entire ecosystem, or
sure,
what we're doing?
The entire metaverse.
Whatever comes to mind.
I mean, I guess our thing is, you know, I mean, we kind of fashion ourselves as what we call a blockchain service provider. So we're that nerd that tries to fill in a lot of those gaps where all these projects, you know, are like, hey, I got this idea, but I don't have the nerds to do it. Or, yeah, I mean, like we did early on, you know, just starting to have these conversations and just look, this is the way the chain works. So what I'm excited about is we started developing a lot of our kind of tool sets that a lot of projects are starting to, you know, collection scoring, you know, so all the card holders in your collection, you know, get an automatic score, and then you can, you know, do airdrops or token rewards or whatever, liquidity pool rewards, you know, obviously our airdrops and automation services and data reporting and all of that. So I'm really excited that a lot of our little trinkets and services that we've been kind of working on with some of the projects that originally needed them, but, you know, we realized, hey, you know, maybe Martin needs a liquidity pool reward or whatever, or no, I hear he has a guy for all of that. But anyway, you get the point that, you know, we're able to kind of go out and help a lot of these projects add some of the features they were looking for, without having to spend $50,000 to develop it and learn it and figure it out the hard way.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that's cool. I did want to get to Brittany's question though. Brittany Tiny Mrs. B. I'm hoping to start streaming Uplift on Twitch. Any suggestions of things not to do? I feel like we should have.
Don't grief.
What's that?
Don't grief.
Yeah, no griefing. Like, it's the basic internet rule, right? Don't be a dick. It's pretty.
That works so well on the internet.
It really, you know, that'll get you on the right side of most situations. And yeah, I mean, if you are new to the Uplift, in the spawn hall in Old World, there's like a bunch of memes in there that kind of cover the basic rules and all that kind of stuff. Like, so, you know, the following along with that is probably a good idea. Understanding that it's a PG-13 server, right? So like if things are like, you know, super crass, and we get complaints, you know, there's always the possibility we might have to do something about that. But yeah, I mean, talking about what you can do is so much more fun,
right?
And definitely keep me posted. Tag me on Twitter. Let me know what you're doing, because I'd love to check it out. I think more and more people are going to be streaming that kind of thing.
Yeah, and get in touch with me too, because like I'll watch them. I'll figure out where you are, what you're building, and we'll feature you as much as we possibly can across you know all of our socials on our network.
Damn.
Yeah. Corey and I as well have been you know, thinking about how to get people like Michael to give us more information about themselves and their builds. So that we can go in there and feature, if you're looking at the cover image of this stream, honestly, like, I know it's you and you know some of your family that's putting this together, but like some of the builds that you've done in the uplift are freaking phenomenal, mate.
Yeah.
And I know that
they're not mine. They were for other people, you know, that
right.
and that's so interesting. Yeah, that we do. You know, it's one of those blockchain services that we did is, you know, for different projects that wanted to cross between Uplift and their project, you know, that I went in there and, you know, built things that were themed for them, you know, that way they didn't have to deal with, you know, learning Minecraft and doing all of that, and they're able to use it as a cross platform. But yeah, that's what a lot of ours. One was a resource farm, but you kind of hurt me on some of that.
No, you're fine, dude. It's a beautiful space, and it's in Gratitude. And I happen to know that like maybe the first quarter next year, there's going to be another estate sale that might kind of be in that general area. I don't know. Just
I was about to say, you said they sold the frozen tundra last time, right? That up there by Blockchain Bay.
That could all change. There's lots of things that I think I know, but I actually don't.
Well, I mean, of course, the other one, I mean, I is really waiting on a big feature that I've been waiting on for all of 2021 is really that heavy blockchain integration between, you know, y'all's system and the chain to be able to see and react and do things like that. So.
Well, I think we're making some progress. I mean, Corey, maybe you can shout out our accomplishments this year, but I think there's some really good things to talk about with shops, with the ability.
Well, no, I think staying on the punch sign thing, yeah, like we're doing that internally and sort of providing reports for it, figuring out how to how we want to push all that information to chain is, you know, a different thing. We had some people working on it, and then suddenly they were gone, which was a little weird.
It's hard in the blockchain world.
Still don't super duper know what happened there, but yeah. So I mean, that, you know, it's still on the list. I think getting to the point where we are just making available, you know, anybody who wants to set up a punch sign, you know, and get, you know, a list of wax wallets or whatever from us is you know, really high up on our priority list and proximate, right? Like we're already testing it out with a few people, and it should be going pretty
just
well, like I say, as a blockchain service provider, that's one of the big things, you know, that'll kind of help us go in and really provide a lot of the extra services that, you know, from the blockchain side of it, either reporting and or automation, you know, all sorts of fun stuff that we can do. So that's kind of what a big thing that hopefully we'll be able to jump forward on.
Cool.
Hey, you know what you need to do for me, because like that's my time in the show to ask you for a favor. You need to tell your boss to tell you to tell someone below you to fucking get in touch with me so I can sell the hell out of your plot. That's what needs to happen, because like what you're doing in Gratitude is pretty freaking amazing, and you don't have time. I get it, but just send me someone who does. Like you've got the power, you've got the control.
That I can send over, but like I say, the biggest thing over on that one, you know, is
right back, guys.
Once the shops and stuff are ready to really build out and put in place, you know, I had kind of that area that is somewhat ready for that. So whenever we're ready to kind of spin up the shops and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, all my builder guys, I've got them doing other things right now. You know, they're building nodes and dunking miners and liquid cooling, and every now and then they play Minecraft. But
well, we have a plan in that area that I'm hoping to rope you into. I'm there with Yoshi Drops, and TC has been building a portal hub very close to that, to the east of you. Is I can't remember, but it's the Maple Glaze Jerky Chronicles plot, and I think to the east of that is the Nasty Hooks plot.
There's a couple, like I say, we're right on that, right in about the center line.
Yeah, and so we're gonna build a private rail network through all of those plots that, like, you know, basically makes the official Uplift rail network in that area obsolete. That's how good we're gonna make it.
I almost did so in the Nether, but I was like, oh man, somebody's gonna come and just rip all my materials out. So I did. Yeah. There's tunnels, but I thought about going and dropping in a whole bunch of powered rail and getting them going, but yeah, I mean, we're definitely down. If we can connect them all up. Problem is, you got so many of those community plots and everything that you kind of got to go through.
Well, actually, between you and me, there aren't that many. So I think when the estates come, that'll be an interesting way to look at some of the communities that want to be involved with EOSUSA, that want to be involved with Yoshi Drops, that want to be involved with the Nasty Hooks, and people can pool their money, and we can create this network that basically benefits the whole area. I mean, if Anders wants to pay for half of a portal for him to be able to connect to our awesome kick-ass network, Anders might come and join us.
He's all the way up there by Spawn, so that's pretty good. I know it took me forever to get there in a boat.
I don't know. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to some of the builds that have been going up in Gratitude and other servers, but like it's hard, right? And that's the thing. I think it's a really interesting thing for me to think about, right? Like someone like you or some like the team that I work with in the EOS space, they're heads down, like grinding, right? Like and people like Aaron Cox as well, or EOS Nation as well, right? Like EOS Nation's pretty good at promoting themselves, but still, like the majority of them are heads down, grinding, building shit, and sometimes fucking up, which is totally okay. I mean, EOS Asia, who I used to have associations with as well, like they're mostly just focused on building shit and pretty awesome shit, right? Like some things that didn't quite work out, but they're focused on that. And it's funny for me because like the most amazing builders in the uplift are the exact same. They're focused on like building their awesome shit for themselves, and they miss a lot of like what's going on, right? So yeah, I think there's so Brittany, that's another good question. There is I'll see if I can find it here, but there is an Upliftium price sheet. I believe picture installs right now are 400,000 Upliftium, and portals are
10 million.
Okay, sorry, 10 million.
I need to go and look and see how much Upliftium I have. I don't know. I remember getting an NFT that said I had a crap load.
Gazillions. Hey, do you want to get a portal between my little tree farm in Gratitude and your place?
That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I mean,
no, it's super fun. It's a good location. Definitely, you want that, and that goes. That really will be nice because then when we connect, we can also connect to Corey.
Yeah, and like I say, I didn't do big, audacious builds. If I did anything, it's actually
I didn't either. I have like a pretty small one, and
so it's kind of designed to be a kind of landing plot and a community space. More right. So than some, big, huge, beautiful castle. Although there is a princess castle over there that princess likes to build. Of
course, there is.
Yeah. Every now and then you'll see her fall off the top of it while she's building it. Damn survival.
Been there.
What I kind of want to know what the character on the top of the tower is. What's that? Is that just a man?
It's freeform art of a 5-year-old. So, like I say, it was just I had all the terracotta blocks and everything in there in that depot, and so she'd just go in there and she'd raid the chest and be like, all right, I think I'm gonna put these arrow blocks up, or I'm gonna put some ice blocks up, or whatever. So we built the big tall spire or whatever, and then everything else that's actually there is just modern art from the mind of a 5-year-old. But
that's good. It's really good. I had a lot of fun in there the other day taking some photos. It was super good. So
yeah, that's why she begs to go in there but she can only do it from my account because obviously her account doesn't have edit rights and whatnot, so she has to steal Daddy's computer to be able to work on her tower.
I mean,
you really want to see something fun from the mind of a 5-year-old? One of my plots on Genesis, I just gave her free reign on, and of course it's creative mode. So it's way up there in the north side, almost dead center north. I don't know. It's by like the big yellow Pokemon looking thing. I'm not sure which one it is, what character it is, but
you're not talking about the cat, are you?
It may be a cat. I don't know.
Dude,
I see it.
that's so not a Pokemon thing. That's like the traditional,
It looks like that from behind.
jab.
When you're looking at its ass, it does have a Pokemon kind of style.
That's
Okay.
what you said.
Possibly.
Sorry. That's terrible.
It's very
But
puzzling.
if you want to go over there and see, that one is an archaic, just spires of whatever color blocks and rooms. We go in there and build little rooms and like tree houses and stuff like that. But that one wasn't survival, so it was a hell of a lot easier for her to go.
Hey, I just wanted to touch on this. My 8-year-old is badass at Minecraft, but I was warned in Discord to be careful letting my kid into Uplift because of terms and conditions. Definitely no. Kids are more than welcome to come in and play. Like, as long as they're under your supervision. Like, if they do anything that would get you banned, you'll get banned, right? So
I remember somebody coming in the channel and I'm sure it happened a couple of times, but
right.
So she was mad. She, whoever it was like, "Hey, why did my account get banned?" And they went in there like, "Oh yeah, he was beating the shit out of people." And she was like, "What? I'm gonna go beat his ass. Thank you for telling me that."
We don't.
I mean, think about it.
Donors suggest that, but they really don't like. So yeah, I mean that because we can't tell who's running your account, right? So if it's an 8-year-old or a 15-year-old or whatever, the same things that would get any account banned will get your account banned if your 8-year-old's doing it, right? But if your 8-year-old is in there building with you and having a blast and totally enjoying the ecosystem, like, yes, please, that's awesome. Right. And again, it's PG-13. So again, we control it up to that level as much as we possibly can. But it's the internet. Right? It's that whole thing. But yeah, no, I absolutely love it when people that are in the Uplift bring their munchkins in to mess around, because it's super fun.
Think of it as a supermarket. If your child goes into a supermarket and steals a Cadbury Easter egg, and the police come, then you're responsible for bailing your child out. It's just kind of the same thing as the Uplift.
Right. Hey, Chris, as far as the mute all, I'm assuming you mean for in Minecraft. Just Google that in Minecraft. I'm pretty sure you can turn it off. Anyway, anything else?
My favorite one was when child decided to start teleporting people out of creative. Into,
child. Yoshi's daughter, child. Right? Yeah, starts teleporting people literally like in survival worlds and like murdering them and like, dude. She was like a bomb went off in the Uplift. It was fucking hilarious. So funny. And just like glee and just like being a kid, right? Like having fun or whatever. But look at what
I built.
It was a mess. Yeah, exactly. Like just wanted people to come over there, and she figured out she could teleport them into the sky, and like everyone's dying. And she's like, yay.
I think we called that forced friendship when the villagers were going through that.
Yeah,
oh my God, it was funny. We learned a lot about our own security requirements.
Yeah, exactly.
From kids.
Totally.
Anyways.
Well, I think tomorrow, Corey and I are going to do an Uplift update. I think maybe we'll go in and hang out over at Corey's tree farm. Maybe check out a couple more plots. On Friday, we've got Love is the Answer in the house. He's going to come and talk to us about some of the art that he's building and some of the music that he's doing with Yoshi Drops. Next week on Monday, we'll be back with our regular Monday morning and chill. On Tuesday, I think we're gonna have Jonah from Atomic Assets on. I'm not 100% sure. And on Wednesday, I think we're gonna have Anders back for the first kind of show of the year. So that's what you guys have got to look forward to. Corey or I will be here. If one of us disappear, it's okay. We're coming back. Each of us knows where the other is at most times, to a very broad scope of countryism. So that's good.
What?
A broad scope of countryism.
Yes.
Was that English? Does that translate into any language?
I don't know. What'd you say about my mama?
Yeah, exactly. That's good.
I'm now officially confused.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't have any other way.
Exactly. Honestly, Michael, it's been an honor and a pleasure to just know you. I mean, you're an incredible person.
I hear that so much.
I know.
Not from my wife. I promise you that.
Oh.
I don't know if you've ever seen the I don't know if you've ever seen the show The IT Crowd, Corey. It's a British comedy.
I haven't, but it's been suggested to me a bunch of times.
Yeah, one of my favorite episodes is there's this girl who manages the media or the consumer rights, and she knows nothing about computers, and they've got this fire in the computer, and the screenshot is the fire coming out of the top of a broken computer monitor, and she's got all of her problems, and she walks in and she's like, I really like your screensaver, especially how it comes out at the top of the computer. And like the whole basically IT tech room is on fire. And every time I meet Michael, because of some of our previous episodes, and then he sends me pictures of like his NFTs where it's basically a dumpster fire, and it's pretty funny. They always make me smile. They always make me laugh. Right. And one of these days, I'm not so hopeful, but it wouldn't surprise me if one of those servers behind you just burst into flames.
I mean, we had the fire department. I've got pictures to prove when the fire department showed up. We got struck by lightning and all hell broke loose. So,
however, you're slipping a little bit, because we were on a live stream where Corey's computer burst into flames.
Well, see, you got to remember, all my server stuff's off site. So if it bursts into flames, I just get an alarm.
You just get a phone call.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. My CFO did about shit his pants when they got struck by lightning. Though he was there, and he called me and was like, "We got a problem,
dude." Yeah, that. I don't want computers to burst into flames anymore.
You don't want our computers to burst into flames. There's a lot of things that depend on our servers.
Right?
Hey,
like,
I kind of need you to send me a photo of that, because like I'm pretty sure that one of the NFTs for our line, upcoming line next year, needs to be how hot is the uplift.
Like computer bursting into flames. Yeah, that's not great. People are already getting requests in Discord not to let their kids play. I'm like, oh yeah, look, it also sets your computer on fire.
That's a feature. That's a feature.
Feature, right? Yeah, it's good for bragging rights, bad for computers.
Hey, I'm the one that dunks all my computers in water. So,
is it water though?
It's expensive water.
Expensive water.
Special water.
Special water. That's what Daddy calls it. What?
Daddy juice.
Is there a way that I
made
could
it weird?
Okay, so here we go. Really? You want to mute us, Chuck? Like, I mean, I'm a little bit.
Chuck's my new favorite.
Yeah,
adorable. You can try. You can just like mute when my face is moving, and mute when Jimmy's face is moving, and just turn your volume up to 6,000 when EOSUSA.
Yeah, I pulled that off. My headset went out. That's exactly what I got.
I'm pretty sure the best way is to just go like this.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Chuck, I do appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
I don't. Fuck you.
He comes and he comes and hangs out with me and Sean sometimes. He's not a bad guy.
I would imagine he just only wants to listen to Sean, but I get that because Sean's fucking funny. I mean, that just makes sense.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I guess that's about a wrap for today. I hope that all of you guys have a wonderful new year, and we'll be around, but sparingly. Come hang out tomorrow for the event,
and by tomorrow he means tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Sorry, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, tomorrow for you. I mean, that's a welcome to being in.
There you go. Right, that's what I say. It actually is. It's tomorrow now, right? It's
tomorrow for Japan.
Actually, it's today for me, but it just the clock just struck midnight.
So I say he just rolled over midnight, so it's tomorrow. He's future man. Hey, I need lotto numbers.
I can see why nobody would want to listen to anyone but you. I mean, that future man thing is enough right there, I think.
That's actually, I've called Ross over at Australia, EOSphere. I always call him future man because God, it was so hard. He's like, no, that's tomorrow, or that's today. And I'm like, oh, no, that's yesterday.
Ross is worse because like Ross can't even connect with people in his own goddamn country because he's like in Perth and the rest of them are like on the
he's
east
actually, when you
coast.
say Australia, he's way out there. He's a lot farther than Australia's bigger than most people think. I do agree.
Yeah,
he's several hours off from Sydney.
I read that Perth is actually closer to Bali than it is to Sydney.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what I read. It's interesting.
Well, like I say, yes, I do. Oh, he's in Australia. Not everybody's in Sydney. Oh, he's on the other side of the continent.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, I've always called him Future Man because, like I say, it was always tough. He's always tomorrow.
Well, I would suspect that we'll probably do maybe we'll bring back some EOS BP episodes that maybe you can join us on for the Crypto Writer Show and things like that in the new year. But yeah, do you have any like New Year's wishes or things that you want to shout out to people before we part for the day there, EOS USA Michael? Considering that people only want to listen to you, we may as well give them what they want.
We're doing a lot of cool things. We're a blockchain service provider. So, I've got developers working on some stuff. We can't do everything. The biggest problem is just capacity. But I encourage anybody who, has a project or ideas or needs some help, from the tech side. We're always here to help. And when you succeed, we all succeed, right? So that's kind of our general mentality. So
love it.
All right. Yeah. Good talk. Oh, I mean, there's things happening. Hold on.
The double zombie chop today.
The double zombie chop? It's like going super slow. All right.